A typical life for a Kenyan is if you have a job, which is good, there's a large majority, or I don't know if it's majority, but there's a large percentage that are unemployed. But usually you wake up early, eat your breakfast, and then if you have your job, they will get to their job. They are very, I guess, dedicated to their work. For those that have jobs, they're pretty hardworking, but a large percentage don't have jobs, and so they just kind of meander around. But as far as transportation, the best way that you can commute in Eastern Africa is through their public transportation, unless you have a car. But their public transportation in Kenya is called matatus, and they're just like little vans or small buses. And in Tanzania, they call them dala-dalas. So the same thing, just different names. And so what you do is there's different routes, and they'll specify their routes. It's not like here in the States where it's like, oh, you go on Green Line to this. They just yell out where they're going. And there's also matatu like stations where each of the different areas you know where they're going. And to be honest, it's kind of confusing at first, but if you're with someone, your companion that you'll be getting there with, they know the routes, they know where to find everything, so it's not too hard. You just follow them and then pick up on where all the different things are. But yeah, there's no like printout or anything that you can get to be able to navigate through the different areas. But jump on a matatu, they'll yell out where they're going, and you ask them the price. So if you ask them in English, it'll always be more expensive. If you ask them in Swahili, it'll be cheaper. And if they give you an outrageous price, you can bargain with them. That's basically everything in Kenya and Tanzania. It's according to what you agree upon as the price. So you always argue, especially if it's in a new area where missionaries aren't known yet. You'll have to bargain the price because they'll find out that you actually don't have a lot of money, that you're just kind of poor like everybody else. But once they see, if you're white especially, they think that you have a lot of money because you're a tourist. But once they get beyond that, then they're like, oh, yeah, they'll give you the normal price. So what you do is get on, and then they'll have a conductor, so one person will drive, and then their conductor will shake their hand, and it just has a bunch of change in it, and you pay them, and they'll tell you the price for it. And then you just ride. You're not guaranteed a seat, or even if you do have a seat, a full seat, they just pack you in like sardines. So I guess get used to that. The people are nice though. I mean, they're used to being smashed together. Even if you're hot and sweaty, like, doesn't matter. You just all jump in, get smashed in together. They don't care. I would suggest though, I didn't ever get, like, there wasn't a huge problem with stealing or other things, but if you're wearing a backpack, I mean, it's just common sense that when you get on the matatus or other places where people are going to be pressing up against you, you just swing it around and hold it against your chest or your front, so that way you can see if people are getting into your bag. And I never really had any issues, but I mean, I've heard of missionaries doing it, or having issues, but it's because they didn't swing their backpacks around. Also, as far as like pickpocketing and other things, that's also where a lot of pickpocketing happens. But at the same time, just be smart. Don't have things in your pockets. Where I carried all my money and things was in my white handbook. And so it's like, if someone was going to steal from me, they'd have to like rip it off of my chest, which I think is a lot harder and more obvious. So, and that's, I think, pretty typical for a lot of missions, is that missionaries will carry it in their front pocket. So that's basically how you get around in both countries. You walk a lot. Kenyans walk a ton. That's why they're good runners for the Olympics, especially the Maasai. But also, you will walk a lot as a missionary as well. So my suggestion as far as like footwear is, they say in the mission packet, or at least when I got it, that you can wear sandals. Don't wear sandals, because just understand that whatever is on your feet, you'll be walking through the slums with, and there's open sewers and stuff. So unless you want that open sewage in your shoes or in your sandals, don't wear them. So I would suggest just like good walking shoes. I mean, I wore Echoes, but I mean, you don't have to go with like that brand or whatever. Just choose a good walking shoe that you can get a lot of miles out of, and that's comfortable, because you will be walking a lot.